Yes. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I went out into the wilderness. I tripped over Doku, and while doing so, I found Nomad. He's back.
Yes. Yes, I am back. I have returned. Returned from the wilderness. And we need to talk about, yes, ladies and gentlemen, we need to talk about bat holes. Yes.
Good God.
We according to Matt LaBoche, right? Or Lamash.
Oh no, not this story. Oh God.
Stop culturally appropriating or a mediation on the importance of fishing hats. Dude, you lost it. hey Matt. now you think that, what's this about? This is a right wing. This is a conservative that's going after the whole appropriations group. No, it's not.
It is 12:30 in the afternoon too early to drink. Asking for
It's 5 o'clock somewhere in the British Empire. You knock yourself out, buddy.
Yeah, I'm gonna need a drink for this.
And he starts with the line that tells you he's serious right off the bat. Whenever I'm lecturing in journalism schools, eyeing row upon row of tomorrow's Tom Wolfes and Janet Malcolms or Makems or how you want to say that, or as editors like to call them, futuristic listicle writers, I tell the kids journalism is easy. I just make it look hard. It's a joke, of course, but since irony died on college campuses in 2012, I wouldn't expect him to comprehend it. Now, at this point, I'm still thinking this guy's a conservative because of how he ended this. Although I'm a little leery because he says, "Whenever I'm lecturing in journalism schools," and this is a bad sign.
Yeah.
Though why would they listen to me? After all, I'm a bad example. For instance, I just made up those stories. A journalistic no-no. Since when?
I don't even know what to say to that.
Since I'd rather memorize
the...
So go ahead, Jenson.
Yeah. Are you telling me that journalists actually lie about some of the things they print? How could you say? I am shocked, sir. Shocked, let me tell you. Carry on.
That's the thing. Why would they listen to me? I just made up those stories. That's a good question. It's a really, really good question.
Since I'd rather memorize the collected tweets of Major Taylor Greene that have to participate in public speaking. Really? See, at this point I realize, no, he's not joking. He's an idiot. All right? I once told my dad that he should let me go first before he does because I have no intention of giving a eulogy at his funeral.
Oh, dude, why? I get you're trying to be funny, but bro, why? Why do this?
All right.
How much are they paying you?
It gets better. I said, but if I were the sort of person to inflict my knowledge on classrooms full of impressionable youth, I would tell them the truth. Journalism is kind of hard, especially when you're a generalist. You're always on somebody else's turf. You're often trying to frame order out of chaos. You're forever attempting to sound authoritative about things you knew nothing about 5 minutes ago. Yeah, because you don't know, and even 5 minutes ago, or even 5 minutes later, you still don't know anything about what you're talking about. That's the problem. Is you think that you were educated in those 5 minutes.
Oh goodness, this is bad. Like, dude, you just have to observe and report what you say. Just report the truth. You don't have to make it good or bad or fit a narrative. Like, I came, I saw, I conquered. Like, just stick with the first two. I came, I saw.
It starts off with the fact that, Doku, do you know who Tom Wolfe or Janet Malcolm is?
I know Tom Wolfe is. Janet Malcolm, I probably should know, but it's not ringing a bell right now.
Do you think most people have a clue who Tom Wolfe or Janet Malcolm are?
Probably not.
not.
What makes
Actually,
you...
no. Do you know what? Hold it. Let's actually check. Okay, people. Please put 1 in the chat if you know who Tom Wolfe is. And no, don't cheat. Don't look it up. Okay, carry on.
Because you're starting off a story as if somehow this is common knowledge as to who these people are.
There's something that stuck out to me that I find rather odd. MC Jenson, does this seem strange to you? If I were the sort of person to inflict my knowledge? Hey, what do you mean inflict? Why did you choose the term inflict? Hey,
There. We have some information. Tom Wolfe wrote Bonfire of the Vanities. I've heard of that.
Might be one of the reasons why I didn't recognize the name. Because I've never read Bonfire of the Vanities. And what's more is I don't think I've ever suffered through the entire freaking movie of it.
Huh?
Alright? Because unlike most people, for some reason, I don't care about the hyper rich any more than it's like oh these hyper rich people are just dirty, filthy, rotten. It's boring. Okay.
pay your fair share.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Downington Abbey. Okay, that I've been forced to suffer with. All right, since my daughter and my wife for some reason love the storyline, I'm like, this is boring.
Yeah.
Why does anybody care? There's nothing about this. The only thing I got from watching an episode of Downington Abbey was that one of the characters is portrayed by the woman who played on the Harry Potter movies.
McGonagall, yep.
All I can see her is turning into a cat in the middle of the thing. I'm like, that would make it interesting. She pulled out a broomstick.
Wouldn't it?
She pulled out her broomstick and took off flying. That would have been cool. Even if she'd have just taken a cane and beat a person every now and then for being a dumbass.
Honestly, okay, I actually thought you was going to say the only thing I got out of watching that was a sore ass sitting in the same place for a long time. I genuinely thought you was going to say that. I'm just letting you know.
So as a rule, I don't like picking on particular journalists. Journalists these days have it hard enough. What?
According to who?
The other day, a friend forwarded a piece from the Wall Street Journal. It was written by the paper's style trends columnist, men's fashion editor, who usually contemplates mysteries such as why guys wear leggings
What?
outside the gym, or is a $2,000 puffer jacket worth it? No. No, he's right there. I'm not even sure.
That one.
I'm not even sure what a puffer jacket is.
You saw $2,000 and went, nope.
I'm guessing something that has North Face on it.
Maybe, right? But for $2,000,
Probably.
For $2,000, you could buy enough geese to make your own jacket.
I mean, God, folks. For $2,000, what did Elvis wear it? I mean, was Clinton wearing it during one of his little rendezvous with freaking Monica Lewinsky? I mean, come on, there's got to be some reason you're going to pay $2,000 for a jacket. Come on.
They better be lined with gold, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I don't think it'd be called a puffer jacket then, would it?
Fair point.
It's lined with real pufferfish.
That's what
There you
scares
go.
me, right? Now the headline on his piece was informing us how a $6 Bass Pro Shops hat became a fashion trend. You don't need to fish to wear this hat. In fact, many of its fans have never touched a fishing pole.
This is a perfect example of why news is not news and the majority of the population is stupid. Why do you care?
Yes!
Who fucking cares? People are wearing a $6 Bass Pro Shop fishing hat and they've never even touched a fishing pole. Have you? You're the one writing the fucking article. Who fucking cares? Goodness gracious.
Yeah.
In my former
Especially. So I don't know what's going on, dude, but
OBS disconnected, reconnected and disconnected.
Okay, that might explain a few things. Oh, we're back to excellent again. Okay, just letting you know, mate.
It's flashing here.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what it is? She's annoyed because she wears one.
Things is causing this story. What? We'll just kill the story. We'll see what happens.
And we're back to no data.
Yeah, it's getting crushed right now.
Sorry, dude. Just letting you know.
When in doubt, blame China.
Yeah. We did, Susan. Oh, did I say it out loud? Whoops.
Uh-oh.
And by the way, it was her that actually spotted it as well, so.
Oh, wow. We've hit Twilight Zone levels.
Oh, this is getting quantum, mate.
It's dead.
Wow.
I'm getting almost complete packet loss right now.
I'm getting excellent here.
You're getting excellent there because I can tell you right now it's not excellent because it's dead. I'm getting all sorts of.
No, we're getting no data again.
Yeah, it's dropping frames left and right. The majority of frames are being dropped.
Oh, we're down to good, but it is working. Oh, we're down to poor. Well, this is going 6 ways from Sunday.
Let's see what it does right now.
Okay, I'll let you know if things change.
There it goes. Alright, it's stabilized. Nope. It just fell back out again.
And there we go. Mm-hmm.
It's better than it was, but it's just taking time.
Yeah. Well, I'm suggesting that you do, Doug, because poor sod, we've dragged him in here and now it's not going to bloody work. So while it is working, you might want to grab him.
Okay, there you go, Doku. You want to do the story? Let's do the story.
All right, I'm just reading it from my my computer, so I don't know if you have it pulled up or not.
That's fine. Go ahead. I've got it pulled up.
Okay, so this is from the illustrious publication known as Vice.
Not.
Damn, Jenson. The To the Moon crash is coming. A longtime venture capitalist sees the religious dedication to Elon Musk, hype, and YOLO investing as almost a .com style pyramid scheme in the making. By Maxwell, I'm not even going to try to pronounce your last name.
Strachan.
I'll go with it. Just over 2 years ago, Josh Wolf, co-founder of Lux Capital, a New York City-based venture capital firm dedicated to investing in science and technology firms developing ideas with the potential to change the world. God, that's a long sentence. Where the hell are your... Well, it's Vice, never mind. I know where your editors are. Unemployed. The year was 2000. And the dramatic growth of the internet over the previous decade had created a bubble that was beginning to burst. Over the next few years, the NASDAQ would drop by more than 75% as a slew of heavily hyped tech startups plunged into failure, humbling the recently overconfident industry. The lessons of the dot-com bubble stuck with Wolf, who developed a skepticism of hype and a passion for finding businesses with solid balance sheets and healthy cash flow.
Oh,
But today...
This is Josh Wolf. I'm sorry. I was thinking, this is Tom Wolf?
Yeah, not the same one, but it's spelled the same way, but not the same dude.
Anyway, go on.
But today, Wolf sees many of the same psychological forces enveloping tech firms in the broader investor class. They yelled like GameStop people, and pushed people all in on fad coins like Dogecoin. But for many people, it has also replaced the investment process, popularized by one of Wolf's idols, Warren Buffett, of a slow and steady search for good business fundamentals.
Yeah, get the government to do your bidding. Yeah, what? That's Warren Buffett's fundamentals for business. Okay, let's be perfectly honest here. Okay,
Yeah.
that's number one. Number two is people that were buying GameStop not because they were investing in GameStop. They were
No.
doing it because the shorters, okay, had gotten out of they were their position was such that they had oversold, right?
Oh yeah, I'll talk about that at the end of the article. When we decide that we've talked enough about this article.
Oh, okay. Would you talk about Dogecoin? Well,
I'll also talk about Dogecoin. Yeah, I'll touch on all these things.
okay, continue on.
Goku.
Continue on then.
Goku, if you can talk about Dogecoin, you can talk about the only coin that really matters. Dogecoin.
Dogecoin. Buy it, sell it, use it, abuse it.
All right.
Anyways,
guys,
continuing.
Go ahead.
Continuing
Go
on.
ahead, Toku. I'll be quiet for a bit.
To the moon is not fundamental analysis. It's an inducement. It is encouragement of belief. And the only thing that is fueling that rocket ship to the moon is credulity. I don't know how to say that word actually. Of others. Wolf told Motherboard. These are all pressure tactics weaponized to induce people to be greater fools. And it's almost like a pyramid scheme. Get the next people in, and those people have every incentive to tell their friends, yeah, I just made, 20-50% in a day, and you gotta get in on this. But they're not going to be ringing the bell at the top and saying, it's time to sell. Because when we're there, it's a rush to the exit, and that's when you see mass downturn. The market today reminds Wolf in many ways of the same forces that were so prominent at the height of the dot-com boom. Bubble, boom, same thing. And perhaps no single person better encapsulates this moment than the world's richest man, Elon Musk. Motherboard spoke to Wolf about the worrying signs he sees and the downside of prioritizing hype over fundamentals. The conversation below has been lightly edited for clarity. I'm really interested in this idea that creating a profitable business is less important to a lot of modern companies and investors than hype and narrative. I wonder how you started to come to see that. How did this happen? How did we get here? What was that word that you used that starts with a P? Profit? That's such a weird word. I haven't heard that in so long. People are saying that value investing is dead, that Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger are dead. They're not dead. And these ideas are not dead. They are timeless ideas. They are ideas that say that a business today is the present value of its future cash flows. That a business has competitive advantage where there's something structural in its supply or its brand or its pricing power or its ability to have a monopoly on intellectual property or government licensing. There's real things that make real businesses. And the value that you provide to the customer is then in that pricing power that you can have that you make. And contrary to the scarcity of the world today, profits are a great measure of the value that you provide to the people. Probably my favorite example, notably, they are both in pursuit of space, is Bezos and Musk. In Bezos's case, you have somebody who did one equity insurance, raising less than 60 million when they went public, and then went from a 300 million market cap or whatever. It was to 300 billion. God, that's worded weirdly. And now $1 trillion. I thought I was bad at speaking, but damn, dude. he did that by solving a problem that we had, maybe one we didn't know we had, which is that we went what we want, and we went it now at ever low price. What the?
We
We
want
want
what
it
we
now.
want.
Yeah,
And
yeah. We
want it
want
now.
what we. Yeah. God, that's annoying. We want what we want, and we want it now at ever lower prices with more choice and convenience. And now we're willing to pay for that. For sure, there are externalities of that, like the decline of Barnes and Noble or local certain businesses. But consumers have a choice, and we could decide, no, I prefer to wait longer or pay a price or have less choice. We've all collectively decided we want lower prices and more choice and faster service. Amazon has compounded capital the way a great business should. It's not as widely studied because you don't have the sociopathic fanboys. tell that to tell that to all the Amazon fanboys, they exist.
Yes, they do.
You contrast that to the poster child of technological hope, environmental mission, and selling stock as a product. Elon has parlayed an almost religious movement of true believers to fund losses. This is a business that's never really made accounting profits, let alone actual cash flow. Amazon did all of that, generating internal positive cash flow. Tesla has just burned cash. I joke that Elon should not have been seen as a great engineer and great entrepreneur. He should have been seen as the greatest investment banker in the history of capital markets. He raises more money on an annual basis than the Mormon Church does, and it's just an amazing phenomenon. To me, he was the poster child of true belief and credulity.
Credulity.
Credulity, perchance?
Whatever, and not caring about whether
I
the
can't
company
even
made profits.
I can't even pronounce it. It's bad enough that I can't pronounce things. But Doku's making me worse. It's like I've been infected now.
But people, just so you all know, this is most likely actually just because it's from Vice. Let's be honest, English is at best a fifth language for these people.
They did
I
say
think
that.
you
Well,
have.
this is all.
I think you have the question of this article. Let's stop reading and just talk about it for a moment, shall we?
Yeah, because there's a lot to this, and to be honest, this guy's not exactly wrong,
No.
but he kind of misses the point. It So are the majority of investors looking at fundamental analysis? Are they looking at business fundamentals? Are they looking at technical? Yeah, even the hype boys understand the fundamentals and the technicals.
Well, let me ask you a question, Doku. Again, this is a serious question. All right. With the advent of personal investing, where people can go in there and buy and sell stock on E-Trade and all these other things, has that overtaken the major investment groups from a monetary standpoint, or is it something that's just a small area of the investing?
Well, it hasn't overtaken them. What's actually happened, and so I'm going to actually do a little bit of a deep dive. I'll keep this as brief as possible so that we can get on to the other stories. What's happened, especially with apps like Robinhood, Webull, or even the fact that you could have you can't have a USA investment account anymore, but you could have a Fidelity account or an E-Trade account on your phone, and not only can you trade stocks, bonds, ETFs, ETNs, whatever you want, but you can do it without a commission fee. You can trade $0. It's completely free, and it's accessible everywhere you have an internet connection. This has created a situation where you don't have to go through a broker. So these large brokerage firms, these large investment banks, the hedge funds, they're now facing direct competition from your average retail investor because of groups, especially with the advent of social media, where you do have this kind of group think, this sort of, hype crowd, YOLO investors, where, we like the stock, so we're all going to pile into GME, we're going to pile into AMC, we're going to pile into metamaterials, we're going to pile into BBIG. And the reason they do it isn't because they're just doing YOLO, the fish follows the school type of investing. It's because they're specifically targeted against stocks or towards stocks that hedge funds have, again, shorted to an extent where we can see the Fintel data, we can see the Ortec data, we can see how many shares are available on loan, and we can see what the cost to borrow is. And when a stock gets overshorted, these groups like Wall Street Bets look at these and go, wait, the hedgies, the large investment banks, the whales are shorting this stock to the point where it is far undervalued. And the only reason they're able to do this is because they have a ton of money that a lot of it's actually on margin. So we can come in and buy it and we can actually squeeze them out. And GME was a perfect example when all the GME Wall Street Bet apes came in and bought GameStop. They rose the price to such a point that the hedge funds didn't even have enough shares available on loan to short the stock down to the point where they could actually cover their shorts, because these are all naked shorts. They have to buy the stock, and if there's not enough shares available on loan, they have to buy it at whatever price we set. That's the reason you saw that huge spike, is because they were all shorted, but they don't actually own the shares. They can't cover their puts. They can't cover their either the puts that they sold or the calls that they bought. So you see this type of information and go, you know what, this is bullshit. And the reason that people are irritated with this type of shit is it's basically derivative market manipulation, and the average retail investor is fighting back against it. So you have people like Jim Cramer or anybody that's a talking point on CNBC, these large hedge funds, they're pissed off because collectively as a whole, even though we might not be worth millions or billions of dollars, you have a few people worth, 100,000, 200,000, 300,000. You get them all together in a single group, you can drive that price and squeeze out these hedge funds. That's why they go fucking bankrupt, and that's why they fucking don't like this. But guess what? This is the fucking game you started. We're playing by the same fucking rules.
Well, yeah,
Now,
that's the whole point. Is that they were the ones that caused it, right?
so this is not a.
They're the ones that were let's be honest, doing nefarious shit, because that's what they were doing when you were overshorting, like you were saying. You're basically robbing Peter to pay Paul so that you can get it. You're slamming people to the point where beyond what it's supposed to be, and they were doing it intentionally.
Oh, and exactly, and they're still trying to do it, and they do have the media apparatus at their disposal, so they can still try to scare people out, create FUD. They can still short. They still have more money available. They'll try to squeeze people out. It's not an easy thing to look at something when you're, especially a lot of these investors, especially the Wall Street Bets crew, and I talked to them. I know them. I talk in those circles. A lot of them are not experienced investors. They just hear it, they see it, and they're like, oh yeah, we're going to go to the moon. So this guy has a point there with the crowd psychology. But when you see -20, -30, -50%, it's not an easy thing to just hold on to that loss. But they don't realize that if you bought something, and this is where this guy has a really good point. If you bought something and it still gets dragged down, as long as you have a good understanding of the fundamentals, yeah, you can hold something with some degree of confidence, knowing that, yeah, we're getting hammered by shorts, we're getting hammered by derivatives, we're getting hammered by hedge funds. But this is where he loses the plot. The majority of people that are going to get shaken out by a hedge fund coming in and shorting a stock aren't the Wall Street Bets crowd. They're the ones who see something on Twitter and go, oh, they're going to pump AMC or they're going to pump GME. That's your average Twitter crowd. They don't know what Fintel or Ortec even is. I would make the argument they don't even know what the hell a short even means, let alone how to actually short a stock. Those people get shaken out really fucking quick. Where this guy is wrong is we do actually understand the fundamentals. We understand the technicals. We know what these companies are and what value they should hold. That's why they targeted stocks like GameStop and AMC. is because they knew it was worth more than it was actually trading for. And the only reason it was trading so damn low was because the stock was manipulated. Not only did they want to buy it because it was a bargain, but they also wanted to do it as a middle finger to the fucking hedge funds. There is a big difference. They're not just hype traders.
The other aspect of this is where he doesn't. What irritated me about this article is he's not wrong about Musk and Tesla. Okay, but the problem that is that he's not willing to admit where that money came from. It's not coming from a crowd of people, all right, that are you know fanboys giving him money because it's green energy. It's coming from the government. And I've tried to explain to this. There's a difference between, there's too many people out there who think, like AOC, oh, these oil companies are getting all these subsidies and everything from the government. No, they're not getting subsidies from the government. A subsidy from the government is money from the government. All right? They may be getting tax breaks, but a tax break isn't a subsidy. Musk is getting a subsidy. What I mean by that is the government pays Elon Musk to produce Teslas. There is actual money sent to him because it's quote-unquote green energy, all right, that he gets from your tax dollars directly.
Well, there's a reason I never invested in Tesla. If you go and actually, and this is where this guy is wrong because he thinks us as normal retail investors are stupid and we don't understand fundamental analysis. No, we very well do. It's actually, fundamental analysis is extremely fucking easy. You don't even have to have pattern recognition. If you look at Tesla and you look at their price to earnings, it's over 1,000. I think at one point it was over 2,000. So bear in mind what I mean by price to earnings, the PE ratio. That means you're paying $2,000 for a stock for every dollar that stock earns. The only way a stock gets to that point is because either A, you know it's artificially inflated, which would be kind of the fanboy argument, or B, there's something else driving that price that is not on the balance sheet, and there's a discrepancy there. In the case of Tesla, there's a discrepancy. It's because they're not earning that much money compared to the product that they're producing and selling. They're getting that money because, as you said, the artist formerly known as MC, is because they're getting inflows of cash constantly from the government through subsidies.
Yes.
And so you're not buying Tesla because Tesla's a profitable company. They're not. You could look at there's at least 3 other electric vehicle companies right now that are just as good, if not better, than Tesla, but they don't have the same type of government backing. Why do you think you see government employees, especially people like AOC and all the other Green New Deal people, they all drive fucking Teslas? I guarantee you it ain't because Teslas are cheap. It's because there's something else going on behind the scenes, and it doesn't take a fucking genius to realize, well, they're not driving Priuses, they're driving Teslas. I wonder why.
I think that she owns a car. I'm not sure she can actually drive one. but that's a separate issue. Okay. The thing is with all this crap is Elon Musk's SpaceX. Same shit. All right. A lot of people were like talking about. I mean, let's be honest. SpaceX is hyped. Okay. It was hyped. There are fanboys of SpaceX all over the place. All right, especially when he started talking about how he wasn't going to use hydrogen, all right, hydrogen or oxygen or the standard kerosene mixes. He was going to use methane, all right, as a product to sit up there and run the fuel, right? And I've said from the very beginning, well, all this talk about the Raptor engines and how great they were. Okay, you're talking about somebody who really doesn't understand what the fact how space works, how space travel is working, right? And yet all these people were throwing money in it as they tried to talk about the Raptor engines and how great and phenomenally and revolutionary it was. Not only wasn't the first Raptor engines revolutionary, they don't work the way they were claimed to be. And this is why they had to scrap the entire idea of what they were going to use for those tanks. Because their initial thing was, we don't need to use steel. It's going to be so much lighter because we're going to use carbon fiber. Do you think NASA didn't investigate why you don't use carbon fiber in these tanks? You think NASA had any clue as to what was going on? No. They were just stupid. Okay, then you went in there and said this new technology didn't exist and NASA wasn't aware of it. Okay, keep thinking that, and then all of a sudden, what do you got? You got him having to admit that the carbon fiber tanks don't work. They leak like a sieve. No, really, all the things that people had warned you about. Right? And now Elon Musk is coming back talking about the Raptor engines and the problems they're having getting the Raptor engines online and everything else. It's like, really? You're having to one-off the Raptor engines because you can't create a solid machine-like line that works with these Raptor engines. And what I mean by that is an assembly line process. If you have an assembly line process for a car, all right, when the car rolls off the line, it's like the car before it, it's like the car before it, et cetera, right? And it all works, theoretically. But when you talk about an engine, a rocket engine, small little details become critical failures and death. Okay? If the gap between the door is 1.5 millimeters versus 1 millimeter, it's not a big deal, all right, in your average freaking luxury vehicle. You go off 0.5 millimeter in a rocket engine, though, and the rocket engine fails. And sometimes spectacularly. All right? This is
You mean does it fail with a boom?
It can fail with a boom, or it can just... If it's not shut down, they normally fail with a boom. Yes. or they will shutter themselves into non-existence, causing the engines around them to fail like a boom. Okay? This is one of the biggest problems they have with rocket engines, right? High power rocket engines that you see them thrown into space, all right? It's called vibration, all right? And the reason that vibration exists within liquid fuel rockets has to do with the combustion chamber. The fact that you're throwing in a fuel and then you're lighting it on fire, and the turbulence created because you're trying to keep that pressurized at a higher pressure than what the exhaust is. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Now, the Raptor engine, what they did is they said, okay, we're going to add another feature to this that the Russians came up with, right? And that is to feed part of that exhaust back into the combustion chamber. All right? We're going to utilize that exhaust, all right, to heat up the fuel, basically. And it makes the engine more efficient. This is all true. However, it also makes it massively more complicated. And what's more is the materials necessary you're not going to pick up off the street. You're not going down to Home Depot. And, can I have a couple tons of fencing steel, and we'll just wire this up and we'll send it up. It don't work that way.
No, it also makes the engine itself incredibly more volatile because of the forces at work. But that's a totally different topic of conversation.
It does increase the pressure, and you got to be careful the extra pressure. But in order to solve that, okay, the Soviets would take each one of these engines as it was designed, and they would tweak it because it had to be tweaked in order to work. And they tried to use this with the N-20 rockets, all right? This was their idea of how they were going to get to the moon ahead of the Americans, right? And, of course, it was a spectacular failure, okay?
Well, again, it's like having a high-performance car. yeah, you might have your general specs, but when you're producing something to that degree of precision, yeah, you might have your baseline, but each one has to go to a mechanic and you have to look because you can't expect everything to be produced 100% with the degree of accuracy that you need in order for this thing to actually be functional and capable beyond any degree of, or beyond a degree where failure is no longer a concern.
Right.
So
It isn't a
there's a
huge
large
concern.
degree of engine
Right.
yeah, so there's a large degree of engineering, and you have to look at each individual unit that's produced. I mean, you can't to try to produce something to that degree of. I would say the Germans have this problem as well as the Russians, especially with the Russians in regards to their aerodynamics, what they do with airplanes and spacecraft is they run into the problem of over engineering this so that each individual unit has to have someone who is very specialized, who knows exactly what the hell they're looking at, to make sure that it is built within acceptable operating parameters where you're not going to have some sort of critical failure. It, there
One
is
thing, one thing. Shirati has made a little comment. MC is wrong. Russians got there first. So,
Don't know who MC is,
in,
so it doesn't matter.
in who,
yes.
but no, that is one issue though. I mean, don't get me wrong. I still think the private sector does a better job if you're going to try to take on this sort of endeavor. But you have to realize when you're engineering something to this degree of precision, you're gonna have to have a lot of quality control involved in this, and because of what we're talking about, especially when you're talking about space, building rockets and spaceships, things like that,
Well,
those experts aren't aren't exactly very plentiful. You can find someone who can work on a car, sure, but find me someone who can figure out that there's an exhaust feedback port in a rocket engine that's a millimeter off of what it should be.
right.
I bet you there's not that many of them.
Right, and so what you end up with in this situation, right, is Elon Musk actually told the SpaceX employees recently that the cost of the Raptor engines isn't coming down. That they're not able to successfully produce these Raptor engines the way that they're supposed to. And of course he's mad about it. It's like, okay, well, you can be mad about it all you want, but there's something called reality. Okay, and of course the government is coming down threatening to cut off this freaking funding. That's the big thing, right? Because if he can't launch like he wants to with the kind of rapidity that he wants to, they're gonna hold him accountable eventually. Right? Eventually, those bills come due. Eventually, some freaking bureaucrat comes in and says, oh, "What's going on here?" Eventually, some bureaucrat within the government is going to try and save money. Now, the government does this all the damn time. For anybody who doesn't believe that that's going to happen to Elon Musk, you're kidding yourself, all right? And this is with a group of people who are always saying, "Look at me," because when you get in the government, okay, one of the things that makes you stand out is if you quote unquote can put somewhere to say, "Look how much money I saved the American people," all right. Even if it isn't true, if you can make that statement, all right, they'll give you bonuses, they'll give you promotions. It's how you get ahead in the government world, right? It's also what killed a bunch of people, including the general of Fifth Corps, all right, in the military. Because that kind of thinking causes people to do things that are untold, okay? And they don't care, because even though the guy who did this, all right, and for those who don't know what I'm talking about, the Fifth Corps general died in a Black Hawk crash right after it took off, right? Killed him and his staff and a bunch of other people. Killed like 20 people. This is back in the 1990s, I believe, right? And what they found is that what they call the Jesus nut in the helicopters, right? It's the what's holding those propellers onto the airframe, basically. That the Jesus nut cracked, and the plane and down it came. It broke. And as they investigated this, what they found is that there was a flaw from the manufacturer. Okay? And that as they investigated this more, they're like, well, why does this manufacturer, led to give government contracts and everything else? What they found is that back in the day, there was a guy who said, look at these nut specifications. He was just looking at the nut specifications. All right? And he said, these things are 1/3 the price of these other nuts over here that the government is paying for. So he, on his own, got it so that they turned everything over to this other manufacturer, all right, and changed manufacturer, and he got a big bonus, he got money, he got paid. But what he didn't know is that the other manufacturer, right, was magnafluxing the Jesus nuts to make sure there weren't any hidden flaws or cracks in them, and that they were basically, say, only 1 out of 3 passed the magnaflux test.
That actually touches on a big point as to when I said the private sector usually is always the best direction to go with, is for that particular reason, is when you start subsidizing things, when you start throwing money at things, you ultimately end up with cost cutting. And especially if you involve the government, it's like, well, the government will give me more money, but at the same time, you have to realize the double-edged sword of that coin is, if we can save money, because politicians will be politicians, well, all of a sudden, hey, I saved you a bunch of money on things that you should actually probably be spending money on to ensure that they're actually functional and operational. Maybe we shouldn't cut the cost on it.
Yeah, and my point here
certain aspects.
My overall point for those who think that I got too far in the weeds and are lost in what the conversation is this. Elon Musk, all right, and SpaceX and Tesla, they are not private companies. And what I mean by that is that they receive and they are funded and they're totally reliant upon the government. They're not acting as if they're part of the private sector. They're not part of the private sector. They're actually part of the public sector, right? They're actually people who are working strictly for the government. Any more than the SEIU, all right, which is the union workers from the government, are an actual independent agency that doesn't exist within the government. No, they are part of the government. They are part of the government agencies, and they get their funding from the government, which means my tax dollars and your tax dollars.
Well, and again, that's the thing. Like, if you look at Tesla right now and you see the price that it's trading at, do you think Teslas are really that technologically advanced? I can tell you right now they're not. And if you want to double check me on this one, look up the company. What is it? Not Ilis. There's another electric vehicle company that is private sector, and their stock's only around $4 or $5, and yeah, they have a car that is comparable to the highest end Tesla, but they trade at a fraction.
Does
of
it drive
the
itself
cost.
on the highway when it half the time kill people?
Well, that's a different topic of conversation, but I don't know if they have self-parking technology or anything.
The self-driving where we go on the freeway. I could have pulled up a story, to be honest, about a woman who gave birth in a Tesla that self-drove her to the freaking, hospital, I guess. Right?
Huh?
I'm like, lady, if you were driving a Tesla and you were giving birth, you were already wrong. All right, I'm just saying, It's not like a cell phone isn't there to call the freaking ambulance. Right?
That point. By the way, one thing, Doku, you really should show Nomad those glasses we were looking at yesterday. You remember ones that you... Yeah. Not now.
Oh, my God.
Oh, wait till you see these glasses, dude.
Sounds like
wow.
fear. All right, let's get on to another story, right, shall we?
Yeah.
Harvey Weinstein. I think people have forgotten that Harvey Weinstein has existed, right? Harvey Weinstein's New York rape conviction gets rocky reception from appeals court, ruling expected next spring. Now, I got a question about this, which starts with the fact, okay, he gave a rocky reception, all right, to the appeals court, okay, fine, but is it just me or is it December?
Yes, it is.
Okay, why is the ruling going to come next spring? All right, do these guys need, 3 months to make a decision? Why are they a judge? All right, if you need 3 months to make a decision, all right, I don't think I need you on any kind of court, to be honest. All right?
True.
And if you need to have 3 months to, well, I made the decision and I have to write up why I made the decision, well, okay, 3 months? No, a week or two to write up a good document. I can understand. 3 months? We need more judges, dude. We need better judges. We need more judges. Anyway, Harvey Weinstein's 2020 rape conviction was under intense scrutiny today before the all-female appeals court judges in New York, with terms including overkill and that argument rubs me the wrong way thrown at the office of the outgoing Manhattan District Attorney Cyrus Vance II. The 5 justices of the Appellate Division, 1st Judicial Department of the Supreme Court of the Empire State strongly indicated that they could be considering tossing out the Pulp Fiction EP's 23-year sentence for 2 felony sex crime charges. Now, that's like handicapping the court, which is never a good idea to start with, right? But it does go to a point of they're looking at letting this guy out, right? And while I think the man is despicable, and I think that he probably did a lot of heinous shit, especially with the casting couch crap, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where's the evidence?
That's the problem.
Show me the evidence.
That's a very good question.
Well, she said, okay, I hate to tell you this, but you need more evidence than she said. And that's what's coming down. Now, I'll tell you something else. The only reason that this guy's getting this kind of positive look from the court is he's a massive donor to the DNC. Because if he wasn't, all right, then you wouldn't have had the let's be honest, the Mike Tyson conviction. Mike Tyson got convicted on the same way that this guy got convicted, although there was actually a little more evidence of Mike Tyson's in that you had physical evidence of a ripped panties, right? Now, that's, to me, is not much evidence, all right, but it is actual physical evidence. They had no physical evidence at all in frickin' Weinstein, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just a he said, she said thing the entire frickin' way, and then these women were coming out of everywhere. Right? Now, like I said, I understand that there were a lot of women, and that's probably true, all right? And it becomes the overwhelming caseload that goes down on this. But I'll be frank with you, in today's society, I'm sorry, I don't believe it. Because there is that mentality of dump on. For crying out loud, we live in a society where people actually claimed, all right, that the winning lottery ticket that other people paid for, that who walked in there, that it was their ticket, and they dropped it, and those people picked it up off the ground, even though they have the receipt that they paid for it.
Yeah. I've seen that.
So Harvey Weinstein, the thing that got me is he doesn't get convicted for being a bad guy, but that is why they convicted him. Let's be honest. The guy's scum. Not going to deny that. But then again, I can say that about most leftist hippies.
But Nomad, you got to remember, mate. Listen and believe. Listen and believe.
Listen and believe. Yeah, bullshit. This is the people I believe and listen to. Florida man kicked off United flight for wearing underwear as a mask in protest. See, this what I believe, right? A A Florida man was kicked off a United flight for wearing a thong as a mask to protest the airline's mask mandate.
Hey, while he's laughing, I would like you to know when I looked at this, I'm going to be honest with you. I actually had the mental image of the guy whipping off his own undies and wrapping them around his face.
No, he
But
grabbed
that
the
is how they worded it.
He grabbed the flight attendants. He had nothing on him. Can I borrow it?
Ripped panties. Now we understand.
I don't even know what to say to that. What the? You know, it's one hell of a time to be alive. Nothing surprises me anymore, but I kind of wish it did.
I wish I could show you guys the picture of this guy because they were like red thongs that he put on his face, and it was like butt floss. It was the worst kind.
And technically, he's wearing a face covering, and considering the fabric is probably somewhat similar to what you'd get from your normal disposable mask, is it not a proper face covering?
Well, first of all, I'll say one more thing. First of all, it's not United Airlines' mandate. It's the federal government's mandate. It's the FAA mandate. Not a airline mandate. The passenger, Adam Jean, told a local news outlet NBC2 that he believed he was in compliance with the airline's mask mandate as the dog covered both his nose and his mouth.
What do you say?
Is he wrong? Tell me where he's wrong.
Unfortunately, no.
You can't say it. You need to have a cloth face covering. Well, he has a cloth face covering. Where is he not in compliance?
I can tell you what I would have said. Right? It's not that he's not in compliance with the face covering mandate. He's in compliance of wearing underwear as an outer garment.
That means Superman's in trouble. Is this what you're telling me?
Did Superman try to get on the plane?
No, he was flying past.
Okay, wait,
I feel discriminated against. I actually use my disposable masks as underwear.
Gene, who compared himself to civil rights icon Rosa Parks, said that he had previously worn a thong mask on several previous flights with varied responses from the crew members. Every single flight has been met with different reactions from the flight crew, Gene told NBC2, with some with wild appreciation and others being confrontational.
Wait, see, all he has to do is bring up a lawsuit where they're kink-shaming him because we live in a very tolerant, progressive society. This sounds like discrimination.
I bet he does file a case against it. Right. Gene has been banned from flying in the airline until his case has been reviewed by the Passenger Incident Review Committee. What the hell?
I don't want to point this out, but I feel like I have to. Incident Review Committee in regards to wearing undergarments on your face. I'll let your imagination go where it will with that one.
He said additionally he told
Do you realise that means that they are going to have to examine those panties? I mean, can anyone else see where this automatically heads towards a Me Too moment right there?
Jenson, does this smell like queso to you?
Sniff, sniff, tuna?
Additionally, he told WTFX that approximately a dozen other passengers left the plane following his anti-mask protest. One man, he said, asked the cabin crew, did he just get kicked off for wearing a mask? I'm out of here. Forget it. I'm out of here. If only.
Oh, glorious.
All right. Let's move on to another story here, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
this isn't this is this description isn't enough. I mean this. Sick world of Cuomo's ex CNN producer. This is Chris Cuomo.
Mm-hmm.
All right. John Griffin revealed in a police report. Fired CNN producer John Griffin allegedly led a perverted double life in recent months, involving the adoptive mother of a 9-year-old girl in Henderson, Nevada, who was part of a sordid BDSM ring that included the child.
CNN, what the hell is going on over there? Because you guys are 3 for 3 now.
Heather Carker, I'm trying to butcher your name. Not that I care. All right, 48 of Henderson was arrested on August 21st on 2 counts of child abuse, 2 counts of sexual assault against a child under 14, and 1 count of lewdness with a minor under 14. Former Chris Cuomo producer Griffin is accused of flying character and her 9-year-old girl, described as her adopted daughter, to Logan Airport in Boston in July of 2020, and then driving them in his red Tesla, all right, to a $2.5 million ski house in Ludlow, Vermont, according to the federal indictment filed in Vermont last week. Carricker was one of several women claiming to be the mother of a young daughter who Griffin contacted on kink websites about training the girls in sexual subservience.
Yeah. At least we know where that the Lolita Express, the aeroplane, is going to good use. That's all I'm saying.
You know, I'm not even surprised anymore. I'm really not.
Take these people out and execute them. Okay? Give them a trial. All right? Give them the hallway and then give them the rope. It's boom, boom, boom. And if you want to know why I don't like journalists, is everybody apparently knew about this shit. They
I'm
knew
shocked.
that they knew he was a pervert.
Mm-hmm.
You know that they did.
I've said it before, and I will say it again. The problem with progressivism, or progressivism, liberalism, whatever you want to call it, when you become overly tolerant, because we have to tolerate everything, how dare you, you inevitably invite in those who seek to destroy you, and this is the end result. I'm sorry. There comes a point in time where you don't tolerate certain shit.
Who are the people that were making fun of Pizzagate?
I'm just saying, you can call me an intolerant, bigot, and hateful all you want, but there are certain things that, you're right, I won't tolerate, because it leads to abhorrent shit.
Who were the ones that were saying that it's all a conspiracy theory, that's absolutely ridiculous, because Pizzagate stuff, because this wasn't really happening?
You mean the people that are guilty of doing the exact thing that we accuse them of?
Gentlemen, Sean has said, do you think Fredo was aware or participated in this guy's hobby?
I would say that Fredo's aware of it.
Yeah.
You're not gonna convince him. Now, did he participate in it? Maybe, maybe not. Hard to know. All right. But I guarantee you, they know that Fredo and the rest of that ilk know about a lot more of these people. All right, doing this kind of horse shit.
Why do you think the frickin' black book from the why do you think the black book in the Ghislaine Maxwell trial is frickin' redacted?
Yeah, that's ridiculous, isn't it?
Well, it's because they know they're trying to prevent people from getting their names out there. But this is not a 1, 2, 3 people like, oh, it's not a rare occurrence, dude. I've talked to people who work in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And it's an open fucking secret. The only reason the majority of people don't know is because it's not well advertised. But look at what the hell, look at the industry you're talking about. This is not uncommon. It's so damn fucking common that you have public trials, national trials, high profile names. Do you think these people don't have enough money to cover up the bullshit that they're doing, and yet they're still getting caught?
Yeah.
How pervasive do you think this actually is? The only reason you don't hear about it more is because the media doesn't fucking talk about it.
You want to know why
20
people don't know about it more? I'm going to be real blunt. Because there's not enough people willing to sit there and go, you did that to my child, bang.
Yep.
Well, the thing is, take 20 minutes. Take 20 minutes and go and actually look at how often this happens. Especially, you don't have to look at any other major city. Go look at LA and go to the LA Police Department. Go, and you can do this. It's all public information. Go look at how many fucking people are brought up on charges for the crimes of sexual assault, pedophilia, things like that. Go look at how pervasive it is, and then go look anywhere else in the country. The numbers fucking shock you. This is a pervasive problem. It's not uncommon. It happens a lot.
Unfortunately, our elected officials, I think a lot more of them are engaged in this than people want to admit.
You're not wrong.
Both at the local, state, and federal level. You know, at all the levels. Right? I think it's heinous. I really do. All right.
Yeah, it took a dark turn.
Judge is accidentally tased in his own courtroom while trying to stop a fraud defendant who attacked and punched the bailiff and the prosecutor.
Goodness gracious.
Okay.
We're at the point where we're tasing people that are carrying knives and they end up stabbing themselves. Now we're tasing the fucking judges. Like,
Right.
we're just.
What have I've tried. Right. Have I or have I not repeatedly said tasers are bad? Okay, that police and people should be carrying tasers. Right? Here's a great reason. A district court judge in Texas was punched and then accidentally tased when he tried to subdue an unruly defendant who would reportedly attack the bailiff and the prosecutor after he was allegedly denied bond. Or, excuse me, he was denied bond. Right? Joseph Ketiernu, 58, was making an appearance for his financial fraud charges before the state district judge Danilo Danny Lakeo in Houston on Tuesday. When the judge asked if the defendant needed an attorney, the witness told the Houston Chronicle. Lakeo denied the defendant bond and directed a bailiff to take him into custody, according to witness Daniel Glasscock, who was waiting to appear in another case. According to the other criminal, the criminal who witnessed the criminal actually take place, that's when the fracas broke out. Harris County District Attorney's Office First Assistant David Mitchum said, Ketiernu addressed the judge disrespectfully, all right, and when the female bailiff tried to take him into custody, Ketiernu grabbed the bailiff's hair, took her to the ground, and began punching her, according to the prosecutor Jacob Salinas. Now, unless this female bailiff said, "Hi, my name's Alice," right? She shouldn't have been a bailiff, okay? I'm sorry. But if she's some petite little, look, it's Mary Jane. Hi, everybody. You gotta be kidding me, folks. But her jiu-jitsu skills didn't work on this guy? I mean, does it sound like I'm a misogynist? Maybe. All right, but a 58-year-old man took a bailiff to the ground? and started wailing on her. All right, this is not like some ex-football player, all right, who's 6'5" and massively ripped. It's a 58-year-old man.
Yeah.
And there's a reason that back in the day, when you had guards, they're usually rather large individuals.
Yeah, they might not have been smart, but you didn't need smart. You needed big. You needed big and power.
Even today, you still kind of, especially if you're dealing with criminals, you need someone who's going to be able to exert force, and usually the larger individual in question is going to be the one that's able to exert more force. This is not complicated. This is basic fucking physics.
Yeah.
Guys, I've seen all the documentaries how they show 100-pound women kicking the crap out of 250-pound guys. I've seen all the superhero things. They're all documentaries, and you know it.
Yeah, I forgot. Every single female Beowulf is actually Captain Marvel. We live in a Disney movie. I forgot.
He was just wailing on her, so I tried to jump in, said Salinas. Lakeo came down from his bench and tried to help subdue the defendant, and both traded punches with Kiteru, he said. As Salinas, a former football lineman, and Lakeo held the man, the bailiff retrieved the stun gun that had been knocked out of her hand and tased him. So the woman got up, and while these two big guys were holding her to the ground, she fired the taser. But it
I have
gave
another
all
question,
three
though.
men a jolt because the judge and the prosecutor were touching him when he got hit with a taser.
I have another question.
Go on.
Why the hell did the judge get off the bench to... Do you have a bailiff for a fucking reason? Why is the judge getting involved?
Texas?
You know what?
Judge Roy Bean, come out there with that ballot.
Okay.
He's at least armed. He should have used it.
It's a gavel, not a warhammer, Judge.
Depends. What defines a gavel?
Bring back tester pistols.
What defines the gavel versus what defines a warhammer?
Bro,
what you're doing it for? Same thing, right? He should have came down there with a freaking mallet and leveled it into this guy's skull. Okay, and I would have had no problem.
If he did, it would have been more effective than the taser.
yes.
Give all judges warhammers. That's what I'm running on now.
It gets even better. Kiteru, the guy who they're talking about, was out on bond and not handcuffed at the time of the attack.
Well, it's Houston. That shouldn't come as a surprise.
Kiteru, who worked as a pilot for Envoy Airlines until he was fired in 2017 for erratic behavior. Okay.
Define erratic behavior. I'm curious. What do they mean by erratic behavior? I would really like to know.
Yeah.
He ran into legal trouble after filing a $37 million lien against American Airlines, which he claimed he provided labor, services, and materials for on 50 airplanes. However, as a pilot, Caterno would not have done any labor or services for any airframes. Several months later, he filed another baseless lien, this time citing services on a dozen other airplanes. He proclaimed himself as a sovereign citizen who did not have to pay federal income tax.
Of course. I bet you he's wearing fucking panties on his face, too.
Okay. I think the erratic behavior has been defined now, hasn't it, Delku?
From memes, how will they have time just in case if we get them addicted to Warhammer? You can start groaning now.
Just give them a mallet. I mean, a big one. You can even make it rubber.
It's just an oversized mallet. Oh no, is it a military style mallet though? What happens if we paint it black?
Guys, come on.
Rubber mallets are black,
Two-handed
right?
pig irons. Well, Warhammer. That's what you need. That will deal with the problem.
You
You
don't
get
need
someone get lippy, you smack that.
You don't need a two-handed hammer. You just a freaking old style one-handed maul is all you need. Okay, it's all you need.
Let's do a face.
Court's in session. Any questions? No. Start the first case. That's how you do it. Let's go back to the Judge Roy B. days.
Fair.
It's simple. It's quiet. All rise for the judge. It's in session. Whack! You let people know right off the bat. This pansy-ass little... It doesn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me if some freaking judge would sit up there and start his court with a little freaking Tinkerbell fairy ring. Bling! Okay, we're in session, boys and girls.
You can see it happening as well, can't you?
I can. That's why I'm groaning. Just.
I gave a suggestion.
And I bet
Watch it come through.
Okay. Guys, I bet you that judge is in San Francisco. Does anybody want to disagree with me?
No, see, yes, no, you're right. The judge is in San Francisco. He's probably he's probably sitting on the bench right now, thinking, "That's a good idea." Where's the little tingling Tinkerbell sound? That'd be perfect. We'll just bring it up there. Hey. Oh, are you here?
I agree, Sean. Turn the judges into street judges. 2000 AD, they knew what they were doing.
In June of 2020, Bloods gang member Alexei Dubuchet allegedly tried to kill Samuel Diaz, then his supervisor at the New York Housing Authority. Why was a gang member hired by the New York Housing Authority?
That's a good question.
All right. According to police, Dubuchet used a folding knife to stab Diaz in the neck and twice in the head, yelling, "You want to F with my life?" Although, it gets better. Although Dubuchet was a career criminal with 20 prior arrests, again, why was he hired by the New York Housing Authority?
And he was just trying to turn his life around him. See, he's a good guy. I'm not even going to go down that fucking bullshit
and was
rabbit hole.
charged with attempted murder in the attack on Diaz. He was freed on bail.
$1,000?
The now prosecutors say he murdered someone while waiting trial in the Diaz case. Now, am I missing something here? This guy committed the crime in June of 2020. He was still awaiting trial in July 25th, okay, of 2021. Does anybody see a problem here?
Nope, sounds perfectly normal to me. And that's the worrying part that is actually becoming the norm.
We live in a very tolerant and accepting society.
Samuel Diaz is the son of a Democrat city councilman, Ruben Diaz Sr., and the brother of Bronx Borough President Ruben Diaz Jr. Ruben Diaz is furious that Dubuchet was allowed to go free after the attack on his son and that of another person who is now dead. He blames fellow Democrats for passing... What do you mean you blame his fellow Democrats? Why don't you blame Black Lives Matter?
Mm-hmm.
This is...
Well, I'm gonna need another beer.
Why are you not blaming the New York Housing Authority for hiring somebody who's got an arrest record of 20 arrests? and is a known gang member of the Bloods?
And they're just a new political group, MC. They're just trying to advocate for their own position in society.
I was giving him a chance to be the bailiff and see if he could stand up to it. That's what it was.
At this point in time, it wouldn't surprise me if this guy freaked out and tried to kill him because the guy gave him a crip sign somehow, right? Because you want to help my life?
Can someone stop the ride? I want off. I want a refund.
Yeah, that's okay.
No.
Time for some parody. Time for the Babylon Bee. From tornadoes to myocarditis, here are the 9 worst effects of climate change.
It's going to get weird, people.
1.
Strap on in.
Tornadoes, which have never happened before in human history. Wind started spinning and made these crazy funnel things, which were totally unheard of before the end of this month. They were named tornadoes after Tornado Alley, which was discovered by Bob Tornado back in 1908.
God.
Myocarditis. As the sea grows, so does the human heart. Weird. Inflation. You can draw a perfect inverse correlation between global temperature levels and the value of the US dollar. Coincidence? White supremacy. The heat makes people racist. It's science. You have to, if you want to attack us for this idea, think twice, because we represent science. Why do you hate science? Number 5, Trump. We hadn't thought of this one all the way through, but Trump, yeah, gotta be connected somehow. God's Not Dead sequels. Before Al Gore warned us about climate change, there were 0 God's Not Dead movies. Now there are over 70. If only we had listened.
Oh, damn it. Babylon BY.
Biden being a terrible president. This is actually Trump's fault because Trump didn't stop climate change, forcing Biden to be a bad president. Way to go, Trump!
The sad part is, that's an actual argument that people use.
Yeah.
The disastrous Afghanistan withdrawal. The heat made Biden and all the generals make bad decisions. If only they had a nice cold Pepsi to cool it off with.
Oh no, the reason that we had a bad withdrawal from Afghanistan was because of climate change.
Yeah.
I just realized it. The botched Afghanistan withdrawal was all due to climate change.
They were missing the Coke polar bear. The Coke polar bear just didn't show up in time to give him a frickin' frosty.
Yeah.
They were one Slurpee too late.
Yeah, life would definitely be better if we all lived on Antarctica.
And number 9, the Fire Festival. Fire is right in the name, even though they spelled it wrong. Ya Rule did nothing wrong.
God. I'm ashamed to even admit I know what that is.
Goodness
Fuck me.
Like I said, stop calling it parody. It's getting to the point it's not parody anymore, okay? They are saying this shit.
That's why I want a fucking refund and I want the ride to stop.
He gets more parody.
There's no stopping this train.
More parody for the Babylon Bee.
Mm-hmm.
Gun control debate. Explained.
Oh no. Oh
the
no.
gun control debate is raging throughout the land, and while some people say that they want a national conversation over the issue, what they really want to do is lecture you. So, as always, we at the Babylon Bee are here to present you with just the facts. So you understand both positions, no matter which side of the contentious topic you may land on. We spent literally minutes of research on each side. On several social media outlets, so we can help you with supremely informed positions on both. godless, liberal anti-gun folks who want to snatch away your M24 light machine gun for some reason, and the gun-toting rednecks who open carry enough firearms to overthrow a small third-world dictatorship when they head to Walmart to pick up some American flag Speedos on clearance sale. Probably for masks to wear on the United flights.
Oh.
Join us as we look at the policy positions of both the pro-gun control snowflakes and the anti-gun control militiamen. The origins. Pro-gun control. A kid who watched Bambi for the first time in the late 1950s and wept uncontrollably for a 40-day period. and then decided to make his life's mission of eradication of all firearms. Thus, the anti-gun lobby was born. Thanks, Bambi!
Oh, oh, that's how they talk.
Anti-gun control. The pro-gun control lobby was forged in the crucible of an American revolution, watered with the blood of patriots who have gone before us and handed you a folded-up American flag so that your cousin and Cletus could shoot Coors Light cheer bands with a bazooka out of the sandy dunes every weekend.
Wait, where do I get one of those? And how much does it cost?
Basic beliefs. Pro-gun control. The heart of mankind isn't the source of sin and depravity. Guns are! If we just let the government take away all our firearms, the world would ascend into a pace of peace and harmony. There will still be guns and other deadly assault weapons, of course, but only trustworthy individuals like police, the military, our deranged world leaders would have access to them. It's just common sense, folks. The anti-gun control. The Second Amendment was handed down to Moses alongside the Ten Commandments, specifying that every citizen of Israel be allowed to concealed carry up to 28 light machine guns on her person at any specific time. When America took over Israel's spot as God's chosen people, this right was transferred to American citizens, and therefore any attempt to ban U.S. citizens from owning sensible guns like 22 rifles, 12-gauge shotguns, an M1 Abrams tank is an attack on the Bible itself.
You know, it'd be funny if the Babylon Bee was actually not as accurate as they are.
Yeah.
Pro-gun control on policy positions. All scary-looking guns and gun accessories should be branded with meaningless, ominous-sounding names and subsequently banned. American citizens are to protect themselves against criminals and terrorists and any possible malicious U.S. government overreach with nothing more than a broomsticks or a good old-fashioned willpower. But crime would be way lower because none of the bad guys would have guns either. So that's good.
Hey, good luck with that.
That's how they feel. I hate to say it, but that's an accurate position of the pro-gun control lobby. Anti-gun control. All forms of gun control with except of using both hands. Push an amendment to the Constitution that explicitly allows citizens to own openly branded seed weaponry, like attack helicopters and intercontinental ballistic missiles. If the government should ever expand firearm regulations to the slightest, 1776 will commence.
I mean, to be fair, if I could afford it, I would like an M1A2.
Oh, yeah.
I've sat on an M1A2, folks. It's interesting, right? I don't think people understand just how heavy that tank actually is, because it's called a medium tank, right?
Mm-hmm.
What the hell is medium about it?
I don't know, but it's impressive when you actually stand on this tank, when you actually feel it, right? and you do things like simple things like you walk up to it, like kick the tires, right? You kick a tread, right? You kick the turd, kick the turd a little bit with your boot, and you're like dunk dunk. It's like, and then you think, holy shit, this is really 70 tons of metal, right?
Yes.
But,
Yes.
70 tons.
well, my question, if that's considered medium, what's heavy?
A mouse.
Oh,
All right, something like 150 tons. I think.
Mm.
All right, but you kick it and you're like, holy crap, this is 70 tons. This is heavy. This is 70 tons. And if you take the governors off, can do 70 miles an hour on the road. All right? You start to realize just how impressive that engine has to be. No wonder it looks like a jet engine. That came straight out of a 747.
Well,
I'm sorry, I've got to say this. Dude, one sec. Can you now imagine someone in an M1 doing Tokyo Drift?
There wouldn't be a Tokyo.
And the thing is, I've actually seen videos of people drifting that tank. Like, what the hell?
And they're going fast.
Yeah, you could get it up. Oh, again, it's 70 tons of metal going. Even if you can get it above 45 with that type of weight, all you have to do is lock up one tread and then pull the yoke. Because I believe with the M1A2, it's a yoke, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a yoke.
Yeah, so all you have to do is lock up a tread, pull the yoke, and boom. Yeah, that's a lot of weight with a lot of speed behind it. You can turn that thing on a frickin' axis. I wouldn't recommend doing it, but
well,
the fact that you can...
You're inside, you're safe.
Yeah.
But the fact that you can, and also the fact that the frickin' turd is gyro-stabilized, is ridiculous. It is an impressive piece of machinery. People don't think about it, but it's like, dude, it's a 70-ton war machine that you can drift.
Can you imagine if we ever get AI to work and you have the AI run those things on their own autonomously?
Well, if Skynet ever became a thing, we'd be fucked.
Right.
Yeah.
Just to put it out there.
I just want to say one thing, okay, Sean? No, you don't want the Humvee with the mounted gun. What you want is an M2 Bradley. That will deal with your problems. And you can park it pretty much wherever you want.
An M2 Bradley.
Oh, the Bradley with a 30mm on it?
Yes.
The Bradley, for those who don't know, Bradley is not, with the exception of the tow missiles that it carries, is not comparable to an M1. Okay, in any way,
no.
shape, or form.
This is not nearly as armored.
It's aluminum.
But it's still pretty good. Yeah, but it's still okay. Come on.
I mean,
it has a good gun, but it's an infantry fighting vehicle. It's not a tank.
It's an infantry transport. It's infantry transport is what it's for. Right?
Yeah, but he wants a Humvee. I mean, good God, you fart on those things fall apart. What are you talking about?
Well, yeah, that's true. I mean, to a point.
Yeah, thank you.
And to be fair, I'd take a Striker. I don't mind the Striker.
Okay.
It's got wheels. This is something that I had to explain to Jenson, and I had to explain to Batman. Okay? It's got wheels. The problem with wheeled vehicles is all of our friend foe identification cards, the wheels are always the foe. If you're driving with a wheeled vehicle, you're a target of the American forces. Period. Just let you know.
Fair.
Well, that's why the Striker has that cage around it and also armor in case you get struck by friendly fire.
It's not going to help you a hell of a lot with that frickin' Hellfire missile. Okay, I'm just letting you know.
That's why we have the cage.
Great, so the cage is left and you're a smear. Nice concept.
Responses to mass shooting incidents. Immediately following any tragic of mass shooting, randomly select the type of gun or weapon feature, right, and blame the entire thing on it. They put every term related to firearms that they don't understand on a different 20-sided dice and roll it to pick.
I believe they do that.
I hate to admit this, but because I do follow tactical reviews on Twitter, I have seen people actually make the argument of the fully semi-automatic military-style military weapon. And I shit you not, that was the argument. It is a military-style military weapon, fully semi-automatic.
Anti-gun control
Wow.
pray really, really hard that the shooter was a radical Muslim or deranged liberal. Adherents, pro-gun control. Solus neo-Marxists who long to deprive all citizens of firearms so they can be permanently disarmed, so they can have a permanently disarmed slave underclass for their tyrannical police state. The anti-gun control, devout disciples of Alex Jones and Ted Nugent, who will plug you for looking at you sideways.
They're turning the fucking weapons automatic.
Oh, no, don't.
There's a whole new meaning for cat scratch fever now, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Ready for the next story?
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
admit, I'm a bit Full Metal Jacket.
Indonesian woman charged with domestic violence for nagging her husband is acquitted. Where? In Indonesia?
What?
Are you telling me misogyny is not freaking even... Misogyny isn't even safe in Indonesia anymore? Oh, there's no hope for the world.
Yeah.
About the case. In the Karawang District Court found 45-year-old housewife Nenzgi Lim, alias Valencia. Valencia? I'm not sure how to say it, right? Not guilty of her alleged crime on December 3rd, reported the South China Morning Post. Lim was charged with domestic violence in January for allegedly, I guess, this waiting for do you go to trial. It took them till December to actually try this case.
Bad, isn't it?
They charged this one.
They sound like they're Americans.
Oof.
Oh my god. Lim was charged with domestic violence in January for allegedly causing her then husband psychological harm by nagging him. According to the UCA News, prosecutors claim that Lim often scolded her husband, Chang Yong Chin, harshly and kicked him out of the house. Chin, who is identified as Taiwanese, reported her to the authorities in September of 2020.
Wait, I can report someone for scolding me? What the hell? Where the hell have I been living?
Well, it's more as this. He reported this in September, and they charged her in January. Chin, who is identified as Taiwanese, reported her to the authorities in 2020. The mother of two who testified to a panel of judges that her husband was usually drunk. That's because you were nagging him. You come home from a hard day's work. So what have you been at doing now? Oh, give me a beer. Just give me a beer. Whatever happened to the safe days of misogyny, folks? All right. Broken to tears when she was absolved by the court of the charge. A guilty verdict would have resulted in a possible 1-year prison sentence. Oh God. Where is it going to be safe? If a Muslim country, a backward-ass Muslim country, can't hold women accountable for their nagging, who will? Where's it going to be safe anymore to be a bigot? Come on!
The war is lost. We might as well just surrender.
Can you believe this?
Feminism won.
Jenson enjoyed this story.
Mm-hmm.
Enraged monkeys kill 250 dogs by dragging them to the top of buildings and dropping them off out of revenge after the pups killed one of their infants in an Indian village.
Yes, you did hear that.
There's some violent monkeys.
Oh, where's Yorkie when you need him?
Enraged monkeys have killed over 250 dogs in an Indian district by dragging them to the top of buildings and trees and dropping them. Are you sure they were monkeys? Just
Can you imagine that though? Like, just imagine monkeys out of nowhere just taking dogs and dragging them to the top of trees and then drop. Like, bro, that is some end of the world level shit right there.
Hold it.
And then you look at them, and then you look at the latest anti-gay video from Iran and say, what?
Yeah. Guys, are you telling me that they're turning into dogs gay? Is this what you're telling me? Good to know.
They're turning the fucking dogs gay.
So the Islamist monkeys had to take care of them. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah.
It's a joke, folks.
It's a
joke. The horrific incidents have been reported in the villages of Majal Gaon, where 250 dogs are said to have been killed by the rampaging primates near Lavul in the Maharashtra's Beed district. According to the India's News 18 website, not a single pup is left in Lavul, where even school children are being chased and attacked. Look, if you're coming after my child, monkeys gotta go. Okay?
This is why you need 30 rounds. Hey, this is why you need a 30-round magazine, because the fucking monkeys.
Monkeys are not easy to hit. It's better to use a shotgun, folks. I'm just letting you know.
And all I'm gonna say is every household needs an automatic grenade launcher.
Fine, Zach, your plan.
And now we're back to the M1. The villagers have reported that the monkeys set upon the dogs as soon as they see them before taking them up to a high place, the top of a building or a tree, and dropping them to their death. Reports said in last month that 250 dogs had been killed in this way. Pictures in the Indian media appear to confirm the attacks. In one, a monkey can be seen on a roof carrying a puppy to the edge of the building. Separate footage, possibly of the incident that sparked the revenge attack, showed the dogs chasing monkeys through the village as local women and children ran for safety. The dogs appeared to be protecting a child.
Wow.
Hold on.
The monkeys gotta go, folks.
Wait, so I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
The dogs appered to be protecting the child, so were the monkeys going after the kid?
Sounds like it, doesn't it?
It does. Residents of the village contacted officials in the forest department asking if they round up the killer monkeys. However, officials who were sent to the village said they were unable to catch even one of the primates. Shotguns. Okay. It's not a matter.
Why are they trying to catch them? What is there to catch? Like, no, dude, just blast them.
According to the villagers, the monkeys are taking revenge. All right, they said that the violence erupted when one of the dogs killed a baby monkey.
Sounds like the monkeys declared war.
Yes.
And it's time to end the war. All right, not the Australian emu kind. Okay, I'm just putting it out there. Okay, this is not an Aussie style war here, folks.
Yeah,
we're now on monkeys and mutts.
Yeah, this is kind of at the point where, I don't know, it sounds like the indigenous wildlife has gotten a little too confident, a little too big for its proverbial britches. Maybe we should bring in, well, we don't have to bring in the tank, we could just bring in the Bradley. But it sounds like someone needs to be introduced to something we called fragmentation.
Well, I can say
like
this.
the concept.
It's what you need to do is tell the Indians, don't. It's not the beagles you need. Bring in a Doberman or two, and this problem changes. Okay?
You know what?
Bring in a pack of
someone
Dobermans. And I guarantee
Someone should
here,
start a GoFundMe. Someone needs to
Mhm.
start a GoFundMe for this Indian village because it sounds to me like they need I don't know, 50 or 60 Tibetan Mastiffs, and we'll see exactly how that works out for the monkeys.
Or 10 flamethrowers. Just saying.
But bring me the heavy flamer.
Mhm.
Okay, you're asking for people who are so uneducated they can't figure out how to take care of the monkeys themselves. They ask for government help, and you want to hand them a flamethrower. That's like
This is no. No, you're not having that one. This one I'm going to argue on. This is going to be a good thing. No matter what, you're getting rid of stupid creatures. I'm in a win-win here. Come on.
Actually, to be fair, India has had a problem when it comes to the decreasing population of Bengal tigers. This is why Bengal tigers would be a good thing. They keep the frickin' monkey population in control.
No, what you don't understand is they've actually been doing it to Bengal tigers as well. You know why? They heard it was raining cats and dogs. I'll just wait.
Oh, Jenson.
I've been waiting for that one. I really have.
You mentioned this flamethrower. All I could picture was Al Bundy when he was trying to kill a rabbit. Okay.
Oh, you're both terrible. Both of you are terrible.
Dad's outside with a flamethrower.
But it'll be fine. Just paint the buildings with rainbow colors. It'll be fine.
Did he hit the rabbit? No, but the Darcy's tree's on fire.
I mean, technically, it's a utopia. It's all puppy dogs and rainbows and kitty cats. It'll be fine.
Kitty cats? Did you
kitty cats and puppy dogs and rainbows.
Did you mention kitty cats?
Mention kitty cats.
Kitty cats and cat girls? Is that what you're saying here? Kitty cats?
Oh, we need cat girls. Everyone knows you need cat girls.
Yeah, I don't think we need these cat girls. No. We're not talking about those cat girls. We're talking about this, folks, ladies and gentlemen. Farmer rescues abandoned kittens that turn out to be leopard cubs.
Well, if he has them from cubs, those actually turned out to be rather loyal cats.
This fits right into with the story, all right? See, one Indian village has dogs. Another Indian village, wildlife officials in India said a man who rescued what he thought were a pair of abandoned kittens on his property brought them inside his home, only later discovered that they were leopards.
I bet he doesn't have a problem with fucking murderous monkeys.
I agree with that. That's how you feed the leopard. The monkey comes to you.
The forest department officials in the Madhya Pradesh Dar district said Kiran Giri, a farmer from the Bajarika village, discovered the baby felines in his field and brought them inside because he thought they were abandoned kittens suffering from the recent cold weather.
Technically, they were kittens.
He told officials that the felines started to recover from the cold after 3 days inside of his house. He had these things for 3 days and he was feeding them. He grew suspicious, however, when they appeared to be growling instead of meowing. Might be a hint. might be a hint.
It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about the growling kittens.
The farmer showed the animals to the neighbors, who confirmed that they were growling and suspected, hey, them's leopards is what he notified the police, who in turn contacted the forest department. The department took the felines into custody, confirmed they were leopards, a male and a female. They were then taken to the Van Vihar Rescue Center.
Oh, dude, what a bitch. I would have kept them. Fuck that.
Yep. Didn't I say that to you? Did I or did I not say that to you, Nomad? Let's keep them.
I'll be honest with you.
PTs.
Well, first of all,
you have a male and a female? It's a breeding pair. Bro, I've got a male and female leopard? Like, yo, who needs fucking guard dogs? I got fucking leopards.
I have to admit, these are cute. All right?
Mm-hmm.
Baby kittens regardless of whether or not they're tigers or leopards, panthers, jaguars, even baby mountain lions or pumas, they're cute. They are cute creatures. The only ones that kind of give you a kind of I'm insane look when they're born, right, are bobcats. A bobcat kitten looks like it's already a bobcat is already looking like, oh no man, you.
Oh, dude, bobcats are aggressive as fuck, and I know that's because I live in a region where we have fucking bobcats. Those things are mean. They are really mean. You do not want to fuck with bobcats.
Bobcat kittens look like they're already strung out on heroin, right? They need a fix. They already look like they're crack addicts, right?
What you're telling me is they are meth cats. Good to know.
They climb rocks as a fucking pastime. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen bobcats and how they quote play. Dude, they fucking attack rocks.
They're incredible creatures. They really are, and they know that they're gonna. They're like they're beyond the pit bull region of dogs, right? Because they're big, they're muscular. They're like, I'm going to take on anything. Just give me a chance. I swear to, like, there's probably the only thing that Wolverines go, yeah, we're copacetic here.
Well, dude, I'm not joking. Have you ever seen a fucking wild bobcat? They will bite rocks to sharpen their teeth. Like,
but
it's actual documented thing. Like, they literally bite rocks to sharpen their teeth. Like, they're on some other shit.
I'm telling you. You see them out there on a grinding wheel. Gotta get this one. These things just...
No, I'm not joking. Like, they'll literally just rub like the same way a cat might rub its teeth on your thumb to kind of like get scum and food particulates off of their teeth. They'll like rub. They do that, but with rocks.
Yeah.
Like I said, if you ever see a baby bobcat, you don't. Anybody who's ever picked up ever seen a baby bobcat, and I know this idiot. There was a story a couple of years ago where this woman found a baby bobcat and she brought it into her car like an idiot. And I'm like,
oh, that's dumb.
You are looking at something that is already looking at you like where's my meth, bitch? Why don't you go out there and get it for me? Right? That's what you're looking at. You look at the thing, it doesn't look like a drowned, pathetic cat. It's not got those dopey eyes going, oh, please help me. No, it's like, I'm going to mess you up. I'll cut you. I'll cut
They're like aggressive as fuck, too.
It's like that robot from freaking Futurama. I'll stab you. I'll stab you.
Yep.
I'll stab you so bad, you wish I didn't stab you so bad.
But the baby leopards are cute, right? Baby cheetahs are cute. Cheetahs don't start to look ugly to me until they get about 2, 3, or 4 months, and they start getting that kind of slinky hump in their back that I think is just But cheetahs, baby cheetahs are very, very some of the cutest things that you'll see on the planet, right? But you can't say that about a bobcat. I'm just sorry. I swear to God, a bobcat is a cat that got raped by a pit bull at some point and freaking bred these things. It's the only they don't have tails. Not really.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Do they have long, furry tails? No, they don't have long, furry tails. Where did these things come from? They're like bears. Like a bear freaking raped a cat one day. I mean, think about it. It's got the tail of a bear. It's got that stocky build of a bear.
Mm-hmm. Horrifying thought, isn't it?
It is.
But I just got to say, baby tigers, they are the cutest ever.
The problem with tigers, let's be honest, especially tigers that are in captivity, is they reek.
Yes.
They reek. Right? I think it's because of the musk that they give out, right? But they just reek, right?
Yeah.
I can't see how anybody can keep a tiger as a pet because of how much they stink. right? And it's not like you're going to take Fluffy over there to wash its fur out, okay?
Actually, you say that. You know that tigers are one of the few cats that actually enjoy water. And no, don't start Doku. I know about
Everything's fine
your
until you
cat.
bring in the freaking, Johnson's baby wash, all right, that's supposed to be
Yeah,
non-tears.
yeah. Well, no, the cat won't be crying. You, yes. Cat, no.
And yes, my cat does love water. He's not fazed by it at all. He likes to play with the water.
Yeah. If you actually want to go for a really, really cute animal and scare the living hell out of everybody, you go for a liger. Because baby ligers are pretty much the same size as baby tigers. Sorry, real tigers, as in like adult ones there. And
Yeah,
so
except they're infertile and by genetic disposition are fucking crazy.
Anyway, on to the next story. Large
Mhm.
spider interrupts Australian news conference.
But define large spider.
I will. All right. A health official in Queensland, Australia, had her COVID-19 press conference interrupted by a large huntsman spider. The Queensland Health Minister, Yvette de Haath, was conducting an outdoor news conference to discuss the need for businesses to comply with the recent vaccination policy when the spider objected.
There's one thing you haven't actually explained, Nomad. Was the spider wearing a mask?
I don't think the spider was wearing a mask. He said that somebody pointed out
Anti-vax
there was a large
spider,
spider
confirmed.
on a podium. The asked, okay, can somebody please get that spider off?
Oh, and it's a huntsman spider too. Those things are not a joke.
Right?
Yeah.
No.
The chief health officer, John Gerard, attempted to shoo the huntsman. Wasn't she a big, strong, independent woman? Can somebody get the spider?
Wait, she tried to shoo...
No.
You tried to shoo the spider away. That already sounds like a bad idea.
Officer John Gerard attempted to shoo the spider away with some papers. Rolled up newspaper. Whack!
Mm-hmm.
And it looked up. Whack! No, this is mine.
That's the fact he disarms the guy, nicks him, and hit him with it. That's the thing you want to worry about.
Meanwhile, the judge came off of the thing without his mallet, like he's supposed to have. A mallet would solve this. A mallet would have solved this.
You have a point there.
Just put it out there, folks. A big rubber mallet would have taken care of this spider and no problems whatsoever. This shows how controlled I am, said to Oth. All right, I don't like huntsman spiders. All right, but we're going to keep going. If he comes anywhere near my face, let me know. That sounds like somebody wants to throw it at her.
You know, who needs fully semi-automatic weapons when you can have a slingshot and a huntsman spider?
Well, that was a moment, wasn't it? She said. We got COVID and we got spiders. Though what we have is a moron.
We know which one's more dangerous.
What we have is a moron.
It's a spider pandemic.
Just to let you know, if that had been my mom who was given this thing, the next thing would have been a fucking spider! And out came the shoe. Whack! And that would have been the end of it. Okay?
If it weren't for these Democrats, the spiders wouldn't be so horny.
You're talking shoe. I'm not joking. Go at it with a shotgun, okay? It appears the next one's learned because Daddy didn't come home. Click, boom. Okay?
Are we ready for the final story of the day, folks?
Yes.
Final story, and it's not from Florida.
Horny alligators?
Oh, no, brace yourself.
World's worst bank robber is apprehended. Months after robbing Moments after robbing a Wells Fargo branch in Delaware, a man deposited some of the stolen loot in the ATM outside the bank's front door.
Ah, timing. But hey, you know, so you managed to get through the animal ones. Oh, it's back.
Okay, so
They're making the McRoberts robbers.
investigators say that McRobert Williams, 44, approached the teller Saturday morning in a crowded Wells Fargo Wilmington and handed her a note reading, "This is a robbery. I need $150. After the 25-year-old bank employee provided Williams with the cash, he fled the bank. But instead of racing from the crime scene like your average bank robber, Williams exited the Wells Fargo and made a deposit in the ATM on the exterior of the building.
Wait, for only 150?
Yes.
It gets better.
Oh.
It gets better.
Okay.
The Wells Fargo branch and its yellow-framed ATM machines are pictured above. All right. Following the ill-advised pit stop, Williams, seen at the right, fled on foot to a nearby shopping center where he was taken into custody by state troopers. As alleged in the probable cause affidavit, Williams told the police that the money had been deposited and was no longer in his person. The detective reported that while no money was recovered from Williams, he was in possession of a Wells Fargo bank card. During a post-interview, a post-arrest interview, Williams reportedly confessed to the robbery and said that the stolen cash was immediately deposited back into Wells Fargo's ATM. He claimed that he traveled to Delaware by riding the exterior of a cargo train, and that his mind was currently being controlled by a third party via an implant located somewhere in his body.
What the fuck? What? You robbed your own bank for $150 and then blame it on a fucking mind control employee. Yo, what the hell type of alien abduction story is this? Holy shit.
He's been charged with a felony robbery count and is locked up in lieu of $6,000 bond. This guy...
I don't know what to say about this one.
I do, Doku. You know what it was, don't you? He wanted $350.
I did about $350. Oh my goodness.
No, Jim. It's if we wish it was a joke. It's not an Onion article. It's real.
Oh my
Who
God.
robs a bank for $150 and then blames it on a freaking chip? And they're well, where did they implant the chip? Was it at the cerebral cortex? Is it in the frontal lobe? Where is this chip?
Alien
Was
probe.
it the Greys? Was it the reptilians?
Alien anal probe.
Oh god. This is not the type of insertion you were looking for.
There is only one way to deal with chips like that. You have to taser them.
So this is what happened. The judge did it. Blame it on the judge.
It's an anal probe, folks. Instead of putting it in your anus, you should have put it in the ATM along with the cash you just took that you just robbed from the store.
Oh my god.
At this point in time, it's like, first of all, you walk into a bank with a note, "This is a robbery, give me $150.
Yeah.
You know,
if I was the cashier, just like, really? Only $150? That I got that in the teller, or the till right here. You sure you want 300? That's 200. That's 100% increase right there. I'll give you 500.
You see the safe is wide open, right? I mean, there's a couple.
You
of
know we
stacks.
have $100 bills right here, right? Nah, I just need one 100 and 150. Oh, okay. Bro, what the?
And then to walk out take a right and go, ATM. Gotta feed the ATM. I'm kind of believing this
I'm
guy's
gonna
story.
rob the bank and then deposit that money back into the bank.
The ATM was hungry. I needed to feed it.
So is right with what she said. Is he stupid, or did he just discover the greatest fucking drug on the planet? She's not wrong.
That's the funny thing. I'm gonna rob the bank that I bank with so that I can put my money back into the bank.
Yes.
What? What?
Hey?
Right.
And that is the definition of
And I'm gonna do
strange flex.
And I'm gonna do it as soon as I leave the bank by going to the ATM at the bank.
Yes.
That's one hell of a flex. I'm I don't even know what to say. Like, so I'm gonna rob my own bank so I can deposit my money back into my bank. What?
And I rode here on a cargo train.
Just what the hell, dude? This is why we need to teach civics in school. It's to prevent shit like this.
Yeah.
Like, what on earth?
Okay, so this is the argument that you make against me, right? About tasers. Right? This is when you come back and say, no, tasers are necessary. Here's why. Here's a candidate that desperately could benefit from being tased 2, 3, 4, 50, 60 times. Probably has been.
Yeah.
You think he's crazy now? You should have seen what it was like when we caught him.
God. ECT, time for fun. Yeah.
Folks, you can't make these stories up. You can't make these stories up.
You do get some very strange people out there. Let's just leave it at that.
Anti-COVID spiders.
$150 is not.
Right. Go on.
It's not even enough to buy you that much cocaine.
He's not on cocaine. He's on crack, dude.
No, Miss Murder, it was in Delaware.
It was not Florida.
Okay.
It was Delaware.
Now, who is it that's connected with Delaware? Can anyone think in America? I mean, I'm sure that there's someone vaguely important connected to Delaware. Anyone? No? Okay.
Are you saying
When Corn Pop decides to rob a bank.
Are you saying that this is that this was an alias? The guy's that's not his actual name. It's Hunter Biden.
Oh!
He looks like Hunter.
Oh my God! That's why he wanted $150. He wanted to buy one of the pictures, obviously.
I need it for my paintings, man. Give me the painting. Give me the painting.
All right, that's all I.
Yeah, he would have gotten more money. He would have gotten more money from that painting.
Yeah.
Well, it was the bid.
Honk, fucking honk.
All right, folks.
Yeah.
That's all I've got for today. Jenson, do you got anything you want to show the folks?
No, actually, I would say that we pretty much covered it. Doku, anything interesting?
No, I can't top that one.
You can't, dude. You can't. In that case, thank you very much for being on Doku. And thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for listening to our absolute insanity. And don't forget, spiders are dangerous, especially if they don't have masks.
Spiders or biters?
Bye-bye.
If only it had a thong.